Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a full moon in Aquarius reading since the moon card came out in the present energy. First, I'd like to start in the past so we can get a pattern and talk about the full range of the energies. In the past, we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. Feels like you are ending a very painful cycle in the past. I'm hearing death by 1,000 cuts, 10,000 cuts. I'm also getting this Ten of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lack of security, a lack of stability. Feels like you thought that you were in your happily ever after, but you weren't. That was not the case. And with Nine of Pentacles, it feels in reverse. It feels like there's a lack of freedom in this past for you. Codependency, dependency, not feeling like you can do it on your own. It feels like you're in groups that are not for you, that are in some cases actively against you. Feels like you're clinging and you're staying in these environments to be in the group, but you don't fit in the group. The group is cruel to you. The role that you have in groups, it feels like it's not pleasant, to say the least. You might have been the scapegoat. It looks like in the past that the antidote for this was Ace of Cups. Learning how to love yourself, learning how to fill your own cup first. Learning how to center yourself instead of center others. Learning how to not overgive until you have nothing left. Filling your own cup, and then wisely with whatever is overflowing, then you can give to others from that space. And also loving yourself by removing yourself from, once you love yourself, then you remove yourself from spaces, from relationships that aren't for you, from spaces where you don't feel cared for, where you aren't cared for, you aren't loved, you don't feel a belonging, where you are treated cruelly. I think self-love also wakes you up and helps you realize your own value and your own worth. And when you love yourself, you don't need someone else to value you and see your worth. If they can't, then you move on to someone who can, instead of chase and beg and try to plead and get people to see who you really are. By that Ace of Cups, you're taking your power back. I'm deciding I'm lovable. I'm deciding I'm worthwhile. And I'm going to make moves, actions that represent that self-love by removing myself from painful environments where I can't be myself, where I'm unloved and uncared for. So that sets us up for this present energy. Again, full moon in Aquarius, Monday night, Monday the 19th of August. It looks like in this new moon energy, you might want to look at healing your relationship energies. Feels like there's a lot of healing in regards to romance, those romantic relationships. Healing whatever beliefs and blocks that aren't serving you. So a lot of times in one-on-one readings, someone will come in and they'll state a belief that they have they have come to this belief by the experiences that they've experienced in their life. However, their belief doesn't serve them. Their belief blocks their desire to have whatever they want. Maybe they want a romantic relationship, but they have beliefs like all this or that, and you can't find anybody, and people are just really hard to be around, and they're really horrible, and it's so much better to be by myself. But I really want a romantic relationship. So what I'm seeing here, what I'm perceiving, is check your beliefs. If you've got a belief that's blocking your relationship, your ability to have a loving romantic relationship, do those beliefs support you? Yes, just because you have experienced that in the past does not mean that it has to be true going forward. Most of the time, that's the belief. There's blocks. It's just our own internal blocks are actually blocking us from what we want, what we say that we really want. So watching those beliefs, do they support you? There's also so this fits with the past energy. A lesson here around clearing energies that says, I'd rather be with anyone, with someone, than be alone. And I think people have, in the past, taken advantage of that belief that you'll tolerate a lot of abuse and mistreatment rather than be alone. And so do those beliefs serve you? It feels like if you had a belief or belief systems around, I'd much rather be alone than be in the wrong crowd. I'm eager to find the right crowd, but I'm not going to suffer fools. Something like that it's okay to be alone. It is much better to be alone than in company of people who are not for you. There's also this Three of Cups and Justice in reverse energy coming up around this full moon. This one feels very powerful, like the collective is the Three of Cups. And as the collective, we are deciding on big issues of justice and what's fair and what's not fair going forward. And it feels like what was once acceptable 10 years ago, 5 years ago, in this energy, in this collective, is not acceptable anymore. And so what's being seen and what's hidden is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Magician in reverse, and Nine of Cups in reverse. Karma lessons are happening for those who consciously try to block other people's happiness. There's a big rebalancing that this Aquarian moon, the blue moon, is having. A lot of balancing out. This feels like definitely, I can see the revolutionary kind of reactive energy, but it feels more like a shift. People who have been in power, who have been unjust, it feels like they're collapsing. And that's what's coming up here with the Tower card and the Seven of Swords. Delusions, people who have stayed and maintained in this tower of their own reality. It's collapsing. With the Seven of Swords, I'm getting advice that if some of your reality is collapsing, or if people around you, their realities are collapsing, and there's all the emotional upheaval, emotions are very intense, can be very intense around this full moon energy, around big shifts, around people seeing the injustices that were hidden and maybe we didn't see as injustices 5-10 years ago. Now we're like, that is not fair. That is, they're being called out. And there's a message here about being tactical, about saying less when your emotions are, when you have big emotions, it's okay to validate those emotions. I have big emotions right now. I am experiencing big emotions right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. These emotions are valid. How I react from these very intense emotions are not always valid if it damages or hurts someone else, others. If not being able to handle your emotions requires that you project it onto a group or someone, that's the type of energy that's also coming up. Those who don't know how to process emotions and take it out on others. I'm also getting, there's a lot coming up for this full moon with the Six of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. It feels like we're talking about the disparity between those who have and are very blessed and those who have not. There's, it looks like the collective does not like this disparity. This is a creative world we're in. Things don't have to be the way they are. No, it's just because it has been that way, it doesn't have to be that way. And I think people are not only seeing in the collective the disparity between those who have and those who do not have, but also within, clearing out poverty mindset, clearing out any stories that people are doing something to you. People don't want, I don't have, whatever your beliefs are that are keeping you in lack, maybe checking those. Do your beliefs help you? Are they supportive? All right, and the advice is the King of Cups in reverse. So again, you might be feeling very overwhelmed in your emotions, feeling that heat, feeling frustration, feeling wounded, feeling out of control in your emotions, because right now things are very out of balance. And we're seeing it, we're feeling it as a collective, the out of balanceness, so we can make choices that bring things back into balance. The best advice for how to deal with these overwhelming emotions is the Queen of Swords, mindfulness meditation. One thing I've noticed about mindfulness meditation is I shift from broadcasting, thinking, talking, thinking, talking, to listening. listening to the fountain. Listening to my own breath. Not trying to change anything. Just being present with what arises. All right, I hope that's helpful. Have a great full moon.